Welcome to the Nexus, a BXG production where pop and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded as seamlessly as theme parks and wedding weekends. I'm one of your hosts, the Alphatonic Guy, Bretton Bestwick. Some would say the okayest man. I don't know about alongside my co-host, the recently wedded. I was trying to think, like, it's not betrothed because that's like the engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Nuptialed?
nuptialized. I don't know.
Nuptialized.
Gregory T. Filson, and the T stands for off the market, ladies.
That's right. That's right.
Greg,
Officially.
how is how's marital bliss?
Uh Honestly, the same.
Yeah,
And I mean, like in a negative or positive, it's just like, I mean, we've been together for a while, so it's like we live together. You know, living in sin here. But no, I mean, the thing I will say is it is fun to be like my wife. And I
mm,
don't mean just going my wife, but
sure,
just like doing that thing. Or when I had to, and I don't know how you want to do this, but like we're going to Hawaii tomorrow,
right,
Thursday, recording on Wednesday,
yeah,
and so I had to call the hotel because if you're arriving after 9, you're supposed to let them know. So I
yeah,
call them, and I'm like, "Oh, my wife and I are going to be a little late because we just got married." Um, and this is our honeymoon. I did that because Janie's mom had told me, make sure you tell people so you get free stuff. And uh, and so I did. I was like, and the woman's reaction was hilarious. Number one, she's like, does the aloha like Waikiki, and I won't say the full thing because I wait till
right,
after we go there before I
sure.
either a pro or con. But the hotel's cool. I mean, we did it through Priceline. I will say that. I mean, just we're not sponsored, but if they want to sponsor us and send us places, that'd be cool. Uh,
Yeah,
Very simple. I mean, our flight there is very easy. Uh, but flight coming back is going to be a little rough. But I've heard that's just the way it is. Uh,
that's
so yeah,
just the way it is.
is some things will never change. That's just the way it is. Oh
Everything,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like throwing that around. That's fun for me to say.
Yeah,
Yeah. I other than that, other than throwing that around, it is weird. I've never worn like jewelry on my hand, and wearing a ring is like weird at first.
yeah.
Uh, I get more used to it daily. But it is definitely weird at first. You're like, whoa,
I
I
still,
gotta.
I still like play with mine. I
Oh,
think it's
I'm
just
sure
like
I
a
will
nervous, like, or
consistently
just
do
like a
it. Yeah.
tick or something at this point. But I just spin mine on my
Oh,
finger,
sure.
and
Yeah, I do it all the time. I'm sure I will
yeah,
forever do it. I mean, if I have anything like that. So yeah, no, it's good. Like I said, we're doing our honeymoon on. It's starting tomorrow. It's going to be there in Hawaii for a week. So yeah, it should be good. Looking forward to it being uh, warm at night. That's the biggest difference compared to where I currently live, where it's not cold, but it's just not warm at night. It's just like whatever it is, 59, 60. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. I've never been to Hawaii. Yeah, so it's still weird in the sense of like did all that planning and then it's one day and it goes by so quickly. It's
yeah.
crazy how
It's like Christmas.
yeah, it's crazy how much time passes in what seems like a very short amount of time. And by the time it was over at 7:30, I we were dead. It was it was more of a mental thing than I think physical at that point. uh but yeah, but it was good. uh
Well,
yeah, we're gonna
we're
get
gonna
into it
dig
all,
deeper.
so we'll dig deeper.
We're gonna do some of the we're gonna get a little bit deeper. We're gonna do 3 reviews. None of them are movie or television or music or games or books or music, any of the things we typically review. We're going to review Greg's wedding. Spoilers, not that many stars from this guy. Anyway.
Really? You didn't like the wedding?
Well, we're gonna dig deeper. Um, we're gonna review Disneyland, which will be I'll review Disneyland proper,
Hmm.
and then you joined me in California Adventure, so we'll dig into that a little
Yes.
bit with a review, and then I will review Super Nintendo World from Universal Studios. There's a secret fourth review,
Okay.
and it starts right now, and it's my review of Los Angeles. Are you ready?
Okay.
It sucks.
Sure. You don't
I
like it?
hate it. I never want to come back. I said to Melissa, if we ever go see Greg again, we're flying straight to Santa Barbara. I hope I never set foot in that city as long as I live. And if I do, the reason is because I am a multi-millionaire and I have to be there for work. Since I don't think that will happen,
What if the
most
Guardians
likely,
play the Dodgers in the World Series?
then there's at minimum 3 games I can catch in Cleveland. I I just the traffic. Here's the thing. I like this is what I need to say about the traffic. I think that people think LA traffic is like 14 lanes of everybody's going 70 miles an hour and it's just bumper to bumper like the Grand Prix. No, it's just constant slowdowns because people don't know how to fucking drive and there's accidents everywhere.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
there's
I have a
and the on ramps.
great amount
This is the thing that
of.
I like that I noticed is the on ramps are like choke points. And it's just because
Sure.
there's so many people. There's so many people. It it's really difficult to conceptualize how big the city is in terms of just population and total area. And
Yes.
because like with us, not so much you obviously at this point as you are more of a world traveler than many of the rest of us, but we grew up in Western Pennsylvania. It's like, oh, Pittsburgh is the big city. It's like, well, no, like 350,000 people live in Pittsburgh. It's nothing. And like traffic in Pittsburgh is like there like you have the Fort Duquesne Bridge into the Fort Duquesne Tunnel, and that's the only part of the city that has bad traffic. I
Right.
mean, don't get me
Right.
wrong, that's a nightmare, like that little stretch, but that's like a mile and a half. And this is just it's like 40 miles of hellscape in any direction, probably more than that. But no, I like we did the touristy things, and whatever, and I liked when we were able to be like stationary, obviously, and things were much better once we got out of the city up towards where you live. But yeah, no, not a fan of the City of Angels personally.
I mean, for me too. I mean, it's probably different. Since you have like children
Yeah,
and I don't, and that's definitely a different thing where I'm sure children are maybe getting irritated or whatever and things like
yeah.
that, and that leads to other irritations. Um, I moved to LA with my mom in 2013 after we had come to LA on a trip. Oh, when we lived in Texas, and I mean, I drove around LA quite a bit when we were on our trip, and I didn't mind it. I mean, the other thing for me is like I don't mind driving much. I just isn't a thing where I really like. I don't think too much about it. And then once I moved out of LA and then up here,
Mm,
I didn't go to LA a lot until Janie and I got together, just because like it's solo down there is kind of like I mean I just don't know what I would really do. Uh, so then we got together. We would go down. Honestly, when if we were both because she had school or whatever. But when she was here, uh, we would go down probably twice a month to LA
mm.
pretty consistently. Uh, but it was also like our weekends were in the middle of the week, so that makes a difference.
Yeah,
The other
sure.
thing, like I'm not trying to like downplay it, like the traffic is it sucks and it can be really irritating. The thing that I've learned is you just kind of plan for it. So it's like if there's a Dodger game at 7, leave it 2. You just do it, and then
Yeah.
if you get there early, you just get there early, and that's awesome. They still haven't figured out the parking lot situation at Dodger Stadium. It's not enough lanes for all the people. And if you know, and if you run into traffic, you still get there at a pretty decent time. It's kind of adjusting. The biggest thing compared to like Western PA and even going in like Dallas, which is also a big city, is like you said, it's like you're kind of just stuck a lot of
Yeah.
times. And so when you're going to LA, for me and for us, it's just it's just that extra planning. Like give yourself, and it probably sounds bonkers to a lot of other people, but it's just like give yourself that extra 2 hours.
Yeah.
And if you're there early, kind of have a game plan. I always do that. Like if I was like, oh, if traffic ends up being okay, just kind of have a couple other spots you want to check out before you go. And then, if it just you hit the crappiest traffic or there's a wreck or something, then you're there on time. And we'll get to like California Adventure, but that was the thing where it's like there was a couple wrecks on the way down. It diverted us. And honestly, I got there about the same time I planned to get there, even though we left very, very early.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's not for everyone. I will
Yeah.
100%
It's not
say
for
like
me. It's not for
it,
me.
and I've gotten used to it. I got used to it pretty quickly, I'll be honest. But there's just other things for me. Like I said, I don't have kids, and
Yeah.
that definitely changes things. A lot of times too, when we plan something, it's like let's just have a day in LA. It's not like we have this and this and this we have to go to. It's just like, okay, we're going to go to this area of LA and hang out, or we're going to go to this area of
Right.
LA and hang out. It's not we have a full day of something. And so I think that changes when you're like in tourist mode and you want to go to
Here, there, and
Disneyland
everywhere.
or
Yeah.
yeah, and so like you want to make the most of it because you're only here for a week. I honestly like, and I've said this before, like I love LA. I mean, we consistently tried to like go back there and live there over various times because we both really like LA. But I totally get it when it's not for people. It just, it is what it is. It's like a lot of things. I mean, it's one of those things where like, but people in LA would go to like Pittsburgh and they'd be like, wow, there's nothing here.
Well, that's
You know,
true. That's You don't have to be from
or
LA
or
to think
or
that.
well, I'm just saying like Pittsburgh or Cleveland or even
Yeah.
cities like that. They're just kind of. And I like Pittsburgh. I mean, I like Pittsburgh. I actually like I like Cleveland. I mean, the thing for me is I am always like very positive about things. I will try to find like the best thing I can about anything. It's also easier for me because I just like sports, and it's like worst case scenario, I can go to a baseball game in the summer in like a major city,
Right.
and if that's the worst thing for me, I'm fine. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I would like for you to come back just to go to Dodger Stadium because it
Mm.
truly is like a real. And I would gladly, if you flew to Santa Barbara, I'd gladly drive us to there, figure out a way to do that. Um, but Dodger Stadium is truly special. I mean, it really is. But yeah, no, I
I
understand. I understand you not liking it. That's just that you're not the first, you're not the last person that will
No,
complain about LA
no.
traffic.
Well, and I think like the other thing too is, and I'm I'm obviously biased, but I think people from this geographic area, Western PA, Eastern Ohio, Southwestern New York, maybe even like parts of Maryland, parts of West Virginia, this area probably has the best drivers because there is no condition that we don't drive in. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
man,
you're gonna get snow, you get the snow, you get the
well,
you get
I
the road
vehemently
work.
disagree, but
Oh
uh,
no. You on what? People being good drivers or the conditions?
yeah, people being good drivers.
Oh, I would prefer anywhere else the locals
I don't
don't
think there's good
drive. They
drivers
don't
anywhere.
I think I'm a good driver.
No,
So,
you may be a good driver, but I think the general population is bad at driving.
well, there's people that shouldn't be driving. That's part of it, but I think collectively, just because, like I said, there you get the rain, you get the snow, you get the road work, you get the flora and the fauna and the rock slides and all that shit. But I just I don't know. I guess that's neither here nor there, but yeah, and like the crush of people and like we were on. we were up, and I know that this area is, well, I know that it's more expensive, like crazy expensive to live in California, just like in general. But I was like, we would see like specific addresses and everything, and I would tell Melissa, like, look up how much that sold for the last time it sold, whatever. And there was this house that was like, it looked like it should have been in Jackson Center, which is not a slam
Sure.
against Jackson Center,
No,
but it was
it's
like it
is
sold
what
for
it
like
is.
$1.2 million. I'm like, that's insanity.
Yep.
And
I
it
mean,
was
I
it was
don't.
on the border of like Goleta and whatever south of Goleta,
Yeah.
Santa Barbara,
Oh,
whatever.
sure. No, I mean, like,
It's just nuts. It's just bonkerville to me.
it's crazy. The thing I will say, and just before we move on to the next topic, is that I would much rather drive to LA than through San Jose any
Yeah,
time of my life. San Jose is absolutely the worst. The biggest reason why it's terrible is San Jose offers you nothing.
sharks,
Yeah,
hockey.
it offers you literally nothing, and yet it has the worst traffic. And it's just,
Where's
I
that
mean,
even
I
at? Where's
sat
San Jose in relation to like
south
LA?
east of San Francisco,
Okay.
just southeast of San Francisco. So you get there. I sat in traffic. I sat still. I put my car in park after visiting my mom north of San Francisco. I sat my car in park for 70 minutes.
I'd blow my
I
head
just,
off.
I was, oh my God. And like, you know, there's a point where it's like, I have to use, I have to use the restroom, and I'm just sitting there, and it's like, there apparently there was like a major wreck that just blocked off a part right before an exit, so you couldn't even get off the exit. It was, yeah. So
That's
that was
super
San
dumb.
Jose.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's all that. That's LA. And
I love LA.
hard pass. So now we'll talk about the wedding itself. So
Okay.
I don't know how you want it, or the wedding, the reception, the weekend, the wedding weekend, whatever. I don't know
Sure.
how you want to unpack all that. Or
I
whatever.
guess the biggest thing is like you do a lot
I
of.
have one question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I need you to confirm. I don't know if this was made clear or not. Are you and Janie a librarian and a teacher?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Continue.
I will also add that like all that extra stuff was just insane, and I neither approved it nor
Denied it.
denied it. It just was what it was. Um, I guess that's the thing where it's like you got to give people a backstory. It is what it is, and that's
I'll be
the way it
honest,
is.
like I don't remember much
Well,
of that part of mine, other than I flubbed one of the words during the repeat after me section. After that, I don't remember what was said. I know you read
I don't.
something.
Yeah,
You read something, her sister saying something. I don't remember. And I remember
I don't
everything.
remember.
It must not have been that
Yeah,
captivating.
yeah. I mean, it's what it is. Yeah. So, I mean, I would give it. So there are a lot of planning involved. Um, it's tough because you're trying to do everything, and like Janie did a lot of like. So Janie's big thing was like the flowers, the different things like that, and also very important, and obviously getting her dressed, uh, and then actually picking the venues and picking what we were doing. So like having the mural room as the ceremony,
Which
the
awesome
person,
room.
yeah, right,
Beautiful
yeah,
room, courthouse. I do think that, and again, I'm biased, but I do think that Mercer County Courthouse, one of the nicest courthouses in the state of Pennsylvania. I've been in probably better than half of the courthouses. This thing blows it all to hell. Just
but
amazing scenery. The scenery in general, I will say that is the nice thing about California. The scenery is amazing.
yes,
But very well done on the venue for the actual ceremony. Awesome room. There were points in the I don't know if the sermon, whatever, that he was referencing stuff on the walls, and I'm like, I really want to turn around and look, but as somebody who's standing next to the groom, I don't feel like that's appropriate. So I just hope that he hurries it up so that I can
For
check
sure.
this stuff out.
Yeah. So like, I mean, she picked that. Like, there was a collective thing on like the venue for the reception. I mean, it was just the reception thing. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I guess I'll cut. The reception ended up being like way, way better than like I initially had planned, and not I planned or I had hoped, because a lot of venues we planned either just didn't get back to me, or literally like, here, you have to spend this amount minimum, and those amounts vary between 25 and $50,000
Holy shit.
minimum. Like, you just have to spend that, or we won't have it.
Yeah.
Whether
Right.
you have 4 people in this or 250, it's like, so. I will say that, like, we test the food. We love the food, and the venue space was small, but it was like, we're not. That was it's the smallest wedding I've been at in years, like probably in 20 years. Smallest amount of like people invited. Uh, like, very, like, with Janie picking the I'm sorry, the photo booth thing, like, that was awesome. I mean, that was so I will say reception for me was like, nothing can ever be like an A plus, but I would give it like a solid A, like, based on expectations, based on the work I had to, like, that I had to do, because I know I had to do it, and then based off of what I know Janie was doing, I was like completely enthralled. uh it's just one of those things where, like, it looks like a long day, and then when you're in it, it just kind of flies by.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, I mean, for me, like, based off the expectations, being very nervous the night before, of like, how are things going to work out. And yeah, there were some like hiccups, not based off this, just other things that, like, I don't need to like get into, but it was just like some little things that just were not out of control. They just are where they are. So for me, like, honestly, it was awesome. I was stoked. Like, by the end of the night, I was very, very tired. Got invited to like a couple different things, and we came home and watched Cliffhanger. I mean, that's just, we kind of ended the way that we would normally do a night, which is like, let's watch a movie and just like chill. Like, I had nothing left in me.
Cliffhanger
I
and
didn't even have that
chill,
much.
some would say.
Yeah, exactly. I had like, what's funny too is, like, I mean, it's I didn't have that much to drink. Like, a friend of ours, now I feel like he's a friend of yours now, Jeremy. Uh,
Yes.
I,
No,
he lives there once in a while, but he kept giving me like, whiskey or bourbon, whatever, and I would have like a couple sips of it, and I would just set it aside. So like, I had a beer when I came in. I had a couple sips of whiskey every once in a while. I had 2 sips of my champagne or sparkling wine. There we go. So yeah, I like had a couple sips of champagne. So I didn't have like, a ton of drink or anything, and was still like, I mean, still felt pretty wired. I'm glad. It felt like a lot of people had a lot else going on with the drinking, which I was stoked that people were taking advantage of it. Because you're paying for it, you might as well. I do want to just say, like, here I have this
hmm
photo
Yep, there it is.
of you and me.
Yep.
Here's Jeremy.
hmm
There he is, because I mentioned him. And I just want to say, my lovely bride, Janie. There
Feels
she
weird
is.
that you put her last.
Well, I did, because I wanted to talk about her last. Is
Oh,
that,
well, can I jump in
uh,
real quick?
yeah, you can.
If you're listening, Jeremy, I appreciate you. Africa's Toto has nothing to do with a werewolf. I'm sorry. I just agreed with you to make the hurt stop. Continue.
So yeah, that was like, my final thought was just that, and I saved the best for last, was that Janie, obviously, uh, you know, she had to hide the dress and everything from me.
Right.
And when she came out, like, I mean, I'm a more emotional person than I used to be, but I'm still not that emotional. I definitely not as emotional as, like, other people, but I am definitely like more emotional. I was in my in my 20 to 30 range of crying. I cried twice. That was it. And that was because two people passed away, and that was the only reason I cried. But when she came out uh, for the ceremony, it was awesome. I mean, and she had the etching on her dress of a text I sent her very early on that I would watch the grass grow with her. That was really cool. And she looked beautiful. And just thinking about it, I mean, it's just like it's one of those things. She always looks beautiful, but she looked extra beautiful, and I was very, very excited to see her in that. And it was, it's a weird thing to say because it's like we've been together as long as we have, but it was just, it definitely, there was a point, maybe like 6 weeks ago where I was not exactly sure, uh, like if we should do like if we should have just done the whole thing or whatever, and just maybe got like eloped and whatever. But when like the second she came through the doors with her parents, I was like, oh yeah, no, like this was totally worth it to me. Like to see her walk through there and to see how beautiful she was in a dress, and just to have the fun with her, and it was awesome. I mean, it really was. It was one of those things. So for me, it was awesome. I had a great time. I was super tired. I was super tired the next day, even though there was like stuff we still kind of did a little bit the next day that I was like, I'm so tired. The whole week was very, very busy. I mean, went to a really nice restaurant in LA. On Monday, Tuesday, we kind of day off. It was planning for things. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was just like full throttle, like getting things going. So, it's great. I mean, today was the first day we're like, since last week where we didn't really have anything to do. So,
Mm.
Uh, it's a lot. I was stoked on it. I had a great time. I felt that the music matched mostly what I wanted to do. There wasn't exactly everything, but I mean, he did what he had to do. It was just, it was a small venue. Uh, but I hope everyone got to enjoy the cake. I only got to enjoy like a couple bites, but the food was
More
food
than
was
I did.
awesome. The food was awesome. You didn't get cake?
More than I did at my own wedding.
Okay. It's
You were
hard
the
to
only
eat cake at a
person.
wedding.
You were the only person from the wedding party that got cake at my wedding, which is
Well,
hilarious.
I got the cake and I hit off for like a half hour at your wedding. That was the other thing. This is my last thought on when you're the person getting married, it's hard to hide.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was the
Sure.
biggest thing for me. And this was a small venue, small, still not cheap, but small venue. And it's like every time I tried to hide.
Did I?
So
Did I? Well, I just had a thought. Did I say that Werewolf in London doesn't have anything to do with werewolves?
no,
I
Toto
did say
by
Toto.
Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain hasn't
Uh,
fully recovered. Continue.
no, and this is just my final thing was just that I tried to hide a few times, and not even hide, just not talk to people. And it's a small venue, number one, but also it's just like I am a person that had a significant part in this thing, and so people would seek me out. So I got at one point, not that I timed it, not that I timed it, but it was about 2 minutes of actual silent time where I went outside, and I like the little outside space of the venue, and I want to kind of walk by the trees, not the trees, like a little bush thing, whatever it is, and I just kind of stared out the ocean for about 2 minutes, and it was awesome. It was like a great moment for me. It felt rewarding to have that. Yeah, so I mean, I honestly, based on what I thought literally 6 months ago, not 6 months ago, 5 months ago till now, I mean, it went off pretty flawlessly. I mean, there were some things here and there, but it's just those are things here and there. And when you have a small wedding and you have a small venue, things are just going to happen. But like, the food was good. And the two bites of cake were good that I had. I won't get into other things just aren't important or whatever. But no, I mean, and I had a lot of compliments. I thought I looked awesome. I will just say that my suit was great. I thanked myself in my little thank you speech, which is a little homage to Keith Habersberger from the Try Guys. I knew only one person in the building would get that, and that was Janie. So that made me very happy. But no, like I thanked a lot of people that didn't expect to be thanked, and that made them embarrassed, and that made me happy. But great. But the last thing I'll say, Bren, before we go to you, is that you know, I don't plan on getting married again. That is
Okay.
that is the goal. That is the goal. And this is a
Okay.
joke that Janie and I have a lot, because a lot of like things within like the discussion, we're like, well, the next time we get married, we'll do something like this.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Well, you can like
and
renew
so
your
it's just,
vows and all that.
but like the actual thing of like, you know, pretending like we would get divorced or whatever, being funny on my end of things. And it's like, well, the next time we'll figure that out. But it's like literally like she and I did 100% of the work. People spent money on it, but it was she and I doing the work. And it's like, that doesn't always happen. We didn't have a wedding planner. We had a day of person help us out, but we didn't have a wedding. Like we did it. And it's like, it worked. To me, it worked out. You know, our venue was cool. Our venues were cool. I had a good time. And at the end of the day, we got married. We still have our legally binding thing, but we're married, and we're going to Honolulu. I mean, like that's kind of the thing. And it's like you do that. It's cool to say it. It doesn't feel different in the actual scape of our lives, but it feels, cool to just be like, oh, my wife and I, because it's very weird to say your fiance.
Yeah.
Like your girlfriend sounds better than your fiance. That's like the weird thing I didn't realize. It was just like when you say your fiance, it's always like, well, then when are you guys getting married? That's always the question.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
say a girlfriend, nobody gives a shit because they're like, well, you guys will probably break up in 2 months. Like that's always kind of the mindset of like somebody hearing that. So fiance was a big thing. But anyhow,
My
yeah, no, for me,
fiance.
I mean,
My
like it went off.
fiance.
My fiance, maybe the dingo ate your baby. No, so for me, it was like it went, better than I would have planned. Yeah, I wish I had tens of thousands of dollars to spend on this and
Sure.
make it like this insane thing. But like, I mean, honestly, for the prices that we end up doing, like, I mean, I thought it was for me, and for us, because that's the only, at the end of the day, it's really all that matters is like how we feel about it. Like, we had a great time. It was fun. Nothing majorly bad happened. Actually, nothing minorly bad happened. So it was good.
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 It's good. Now, now as a reviewer, I have to be objective.
Sure. Yeah. No,
Obviously,
that's
I
why we're
know that it
here.
was I know that I played a part, but the food, D, music, not my speed. No, I'm just kidding.
I will
I
say
think you
I
just
tried to
stopped
eat.
breathing for a second.
I tried to hit everybody with the music. I really did. I mean, like I played the B-52s, and I hate the B-52s, but because Joanne loves them, like I played Rock Lobster, and Janie loves them too. Um, I tried to get rock. The one thing is, at the end of the day, I can do what I can do. It's played what's played, like
Yeah.
that was the big
No,
thing. So
I almost
steak was cooked perfectly. I was
yeah,
that was
the steak was really good.
potatoes. There was a lot of
Until
vegetables. And that's not for everybody, but I like them. I like veggies.
the moment I had the microphone in my hand, I had no idea what I was going to say for the speech.
Beautiful. That's the way
And
it is.
there was an inkling to go on many different directions, but there was one like strand of me that was like just go on a 5 minute diatribe about there being a plate of seafood near me and then just drop the mic and walk out. Because one of the plates that came out was just it
The
was just
Vesco
seafood.
miso. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was
seafood.
just totally all seafood. And I was like, no, how dare you?
Well, What's really funny about that, like, and that's the funniest thing about that is like there were like some people that just like, holy shit, that was amazing because it's locally caught seafood. Like they, and then there were some people that just said I didn't touch it, and it just made me laugh. Like, people you knew, people you didn't know that said those same things to me, and it's just like that made me laugh. But it is what it is.
um, no, I thought overall, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've
I
never
hope so.
been. I've ne- I've never been. I've never been in a wedding. I've never been asked to be part of like the groomsmen. Well, I've been in my wedding. I shouldn't say that. I've never been in a
I
wedding.
say you were in your wedding.
Um, I've never been a groomsman, and after our friend Ty got married in secret in Vegas, I thought, oh,
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna ever be in a wedding now because I just assumed you were gonna ride that wave forever. You know?
Oh, you see, I was just gonna do my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So did I, Brenton.
Um, but it meant a lot to me for you to ask. I almost made a joke. The only reason you asked was because you thought I would fire you from the podcast so we don't make any money from. Um, so
That's
that was
funny.
another direction I was going to go. Um, I was also going to get up there and say welcome to the roast of Greg Filson and then just flame you for a few minutes and sit down, but I
Oh, I would
didn't,
love that.
didn't think that it was appropriate for the rest of the audience. So I did a little bit of a Greg
Well,
impression and told a funny
yeah.
story and
No, I
that whole
honestly
thing.
loved it. I honestly loved it, Brenton. It was like, you know, it meant a lot that number one that you could come here. I mean, just the meeting your kids was awesome. I mean, your kids are great. I know, like we had funny discussions about your kids, but they're awesome. I mean,
Right.
they're so
Like
cute.
when one threw a 4 hour tantrum and I it took everything in my power not to drive straight into the Pacific Ocean.
Sure. Uh, it's like for me, your kids are the only kids I've really met. I mean, like it,
Yeah.
truly, truly met, and it was awesome to meet them. I met Nate's kids for a brief period of time at the wedding, and they seemed great too. And it was one of those things, but it was just like, I mean, that was one of those things where I mean, it truly meant a lot that you come out here. It's not the easiest thing to ask people to come completely cross country, and for the people that did, it's just for you and Ty and Nate and Phil to come out here. I mean,
Matt
and,
and Matt.
and Matt. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Matt's like kind of all over the place. I'm always just like, was a complete because he's in Austin, and it's just like, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, I mean, these are, and there's some people that just couldn't do it for various reasons.
Yep. Some
Some
people
good reasons, some no reasons.
right. Some people are growing a
And
person inside them.
yeah, and and she sent me an awesome gift. So EJ, thank you. I can't wait to use that gift. But
Is a
and
vibrator.
someday, no,
Okay.
no. I will say the thing about EJ is like we have met out here, so like I've
Yeah.
seen EJ, and Dale came out here as another time, and I have seen Dale, between the time I moved out. So for people to come out here to make that special trip, for people that were here for a couple days, or for people like you and Nate for being here for like a week plus. I mean, I hope that everybody enjoyed it. I'm an insane people pleaser. Like I like go up to people. I like went up to our DJ,
That's one of the
and I
things that
was like,
Janie mentioned to me.
yeah, like I just can't. I have to make sure everybody is having a good time, and like I go up to my DJ, who I'm literally paying, and I'm like, "Are you having a good time? Is everything good?" And like that's like I don't know if it's probably like my beige flag of like I have to make sure everyone, even people I'm paying, are having a good time. But no, Brent, it meant a lot. I loved your speech. I thought it was really funny. I love Shelly's speech too.
Yeah, that was
Hers was
also
really
good.
funny.
She's a very
Uh,
awesome person. I'm glad I got to meet her and her husband.
yeah, yeah. Shelly, David, and James Bruno.
Yeah, big
Very
rig.
cool. Yeah, I love he calls me Big Greg. It makes me so happy. Uh, he's a cute little kid. I love that kid. And I love your kids. It was cool for me, and I say this in like, the children were just. It was so fun to be around children because like that's kind of my like mentality being a teacher. And so kind of just being around everybody,
Oh,
having
I
a
thought,
fun time, and like, just and we're gonna get to the Disneyland thing, so I don't want to like spoil all that. But it was so fun, and to dance with your kids. The chicken hat thing. I'm sorry,
yeah,
tonight, Cameron. I mean, it was just like I stuttered a little bit. And I don't, me, I don't stutter when I talk. I'm usually a very, forceful. But it was cool to give him the hat, man. Like it was, and it's just like he was so appreciative of it. And Claire had such a great time too, dancing. And at the end of the night, when Journey played and James was dancing and running around, it meant a lot to me. And it's one of those things where, like I said, 5, 6 months ago, and you're like, should we have just eloped and done it? And it's like, but when you see those moments, and my mom was just like, it's one of those things too, where it's like my mom looked great. I mean, she had like this really cool dress, and she was, just so into it. And Janie's parents, and just like talk to my mom off to the side, like during different things, and having those little like moments. It's such a cool thing, and you can't duplicate. You're never going to have that moment again. And so to have those little moments with different people, whether it's people you've known your entire life, like my mom, where we had some inside jokes that were literally just inside jokes between us, and to have like the inside jokes with me and Janie, or to have the inside jokes with like anyone else, that was cool. Like I recommend that if you are deciding between doing like an elopement or getting the full thing, if you can do the full thing and like it's not like cost like prohibitive, do it, because it truly is worth it, and it's such a fun moment, and it's it's a very quick day, but it's a very fun day. So yeah, that's my final thing, and I'm just stoked that people were able to come out here. And for the people that couldn't come out here, I mean, like that's totally fine. I mean, it happens. But for everybody that came out here, it's like I'm super grateful, super thankful everybody was able to do it. So yeah, I guess, unless you have anything else.
I don't.
Okay.
I
So
don't.
now we're on to the Disneyland review.
Yeah. I guess I can just. Well, you've been to Disneyland. They haven't made any additions since you've been there. I don't think.
Just subtractions, because they had
Well,
to take away a
okay.
couple
So
things.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did make some additions because there was new stuff as of like this year. Um, Disneyland is not carbon copy of Magic Kingdom, but it is basically the same thing.
Well,
The
what you
only
should say is that Magic Kingdom is not a carbon copy, because it's Disneyland was the first thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've explained. People have asked me since we've been home, or today was my first day back to work or whatever. Like, what is the difference between the two Disneyland parks and Disney World? And the difference is that when Walt Disney opened and set out to, hey, we're going to have a theme park. It's going to be called Disneyland. It's going to be in Anaheim, California. He bought the property for the parks and for the parking lots, and then everybody bought up all the property around it.
Right.
And so there is no room for expansion there. I mean, there's very little, like you said, if they
It's
want to do
just
more
hotels.
things. Yeah, hotels, restaurants, parking, and uh, streets, basically. And so if they want to do anything new there, which they have done new things, but they have to get rid of old things. Whereas at Disney World in Orlando, he bought in secret through like a third company subsidiary or a third party subsidiary or whatever. He bought the entire Disney World proper real estate, which is like 40 square miles. It's
Insane.
huge. That's what she said. Um, and they have room there to put in more parks, like full parks if they wanted to. And Disney World, so Magic Kingdom, um, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, Epcot Center, two water parks, several mini golf courses, the
So
entire
insane.
ESPN, worldwide sports complexes, like something like 12 or 15 resorts, that are all
So
themed and all have their own like themed pool, themed restaurants, all this different stuff. And so Disney World is just bigger. But yeah, Magic Kingdom would be kind of a copy of Disneyland California. The other difference, well, the differences in total, a lot of the stuff that's at Disneyland and California Adventure are parsed out into other parks. So Disneyland
mhm.
has Galaxy's Edge, that's in Hollywood Studios. Um, California Adventure has the Pixar Pier. There's like a Toy Story section and a Pixar section at Hollywood Studios. So a lot of those things are kind of moved around other parks. The ride list at Disneyland is all of those rides are found somewhere in Disney World.
Sure.
Space
Yeah.
Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, which is currently being renovated to take it away from the Briar Rabbit theme, which is like inherently racist, I guess, from back in the day. I've never seen those, but that's the explanation. It's being made
Yeah.
into it's being made into like a Princess Tiana, Princess and the Frog themed ride. Um, those are all at Magic Kingdom. The Matterhorn um, bobsleds, there is an iteration of that in Animal Kingdom, which is Expedition Everest. The only difference there is Matterhorn is 1x1, and Expedition
Yes.
Everest is two to a rider. All the little rides, the carousel, the like Dumbo, Peter Pan, trying to think what are the teacups, all those sort of little things, Haunted Mansion, those are all at Magic Kingdom. The big differences are at Disneyland, you have Mickey's Toontown, which is new as of this year. So that's brand new. You can ride, um, there's a Roger Rabbit ride that you can ride, which is not at Disney World. There's Mickey and Minnie's
That's fun. Yeah. Raj.
Runaway Rail Car, which is at both. But then there's Mickey and Minnie's houses. There's Goofy's house that you can walk into, Donald Duck's ship, and like a Chippendale thing. None of that's at Disney World. So that's all new. All that's where their character meetups are. And the character meetups at Disneyland are way different than they are at Disney World. They're just kind of wandering at Disneyland. You just see
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we saw Peter Pan and we're like, what the fuck, Peter Pan? And he's just like
Right.
wandering around, but like they all have designated areas at Disney World. So really the feel of Disneyland was pretty similar. For us,
Sure.
it felt comfortable. It felt like, we know exactly what we're doing, exactly what we're getting into. In my opinion, Genie Plus is a must, especially for Disneyland.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I didn't think it was as much of a game changer for California Adventure because there's just not as many rides. But if you're in Disneyland, I think Disney or Genie Plus is a must. I think Genie Plus is also a must at any of the Orlando parks because the lines are just all universally longer. Um, that's kind of it for Disneyland. We didn't get as many characters. We had character dining in one of the restaurants. It's funny because the Plaza Inn, and it's funny because it's on the if you're walking down Main Street towards Sleeping Beauty's castle, it's like off to the right, and it's a very, very, very close replica of the Crystal Palace at Disney World, which is off to the left. That is also buffet style character dining, so it's like almost the same damn thing. And but like even the shops up and down Main Street are like the layout is exactly the
Okay.
same.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
castle, the sort of the courtyard of the castle, exactly the same. You walk through the castle, the first thing you see is the carousel, completely the same. Like the layout is shockingly similar. The only things that were different, um, obviously Galaxy's Edge is in Disneyland, it's in Hollywood. We did all three Star Wars rides. We did not do Smuggler's Run in Disney World. And the we got up to the entry and they said, okay, who's flying? Who are my two pilots and who are my two gunners? And the kids are like, oh, we want to be, we want to be the pilots. And I backhanded both of them and then said, I'm flying the fucking Millennium Falcon. Know your role.
Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Um,
Same.
but the littlest one had to be with an adult, so she was the side to side, and I was the up and down. And I feel like that was a mistake. Like I
Imagine if
probably
you and me do this, we might set a course record, Brenton.
or end our friendship. Those are probably the only two
Right,
options.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no we set a course
Right.
record or we end our friendship. But
Right. Yeah.
because I had to do it, and I'm not gonna say who was beside me,
I think you
but
told me. I think you
I
told
did.
me. Right.
But on the podcast, I'm not gonna say,
Right.
and it was.
Yeah. I was hoarse afterwards from screaming, like yelling directions. And
Oh,
it is hot in that cockpit.
it is so hot in the cock. It's. It's one of those things where like you don't want to say the F bomb.
Out of here. I gotta get rid of that or else we get
But I
flagged.
definitely dropped 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and
right.
I was just like,
yes.
Because it's one of those things. Like if you have any gaming experience,
right.
Like you can figure it out.
Yeah, I was pulling up and down on the flight stick so hard that I popped the handle off.
Sure, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can understand that.
I had to figure out how to get that back on.
So which one were you again, Brent? Were you
up and down? Yeah.
I was right to left.
Okay.
Yeah, that was right.
I don't. After riding Rise of the Resistance again for the second time, I don't know that I need to ride it again in terms of like paying for it. Because both times we rode.
Oh, you had to pay for it?
Well, I paid for the fast pass or the lightning lane. I paid for lightning.
Okay,
it's individual lightning lane, and I paid both times that we rode it because I wasn't going to stand in line for 3 hours.
Sure.
And I don't like. Eventually, the ride won't be as popular. Well, I think Indiana Jones. That's the other thing. There's no Indiana Jones ride at Disney World.
Oh, that sucks. That ride's awesome.
There is. The wait for Indiana Jones was 45 minutes, but you could tell walking through the whole thing that this was a very, very popular ride at one point. And eventually that'll happen. She
waited like 3.5 hours, I think.
Yeah. Eventually that'll happen with Rise of the Resistance, and I just will be fine to wait for it like that rather than because I've seen it now twice. You know what I mean? And I will be honest that seeing it the second time, it lost a little bit of its luster. Because the first time it was mind blowing.
First time is amazing.
Best theme park, not roller coaster, not a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Best theme park ride that I've ever been on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I still think that it holds that crown because it is just from a theme park perspective, like it's an incredibly immersive experience.
It's so fun. Yeah.
But I think I'm okay to not pay for it again.
The thing I'll say on that is like, once you get other people into Star Wars, to see their experience is like worth it in that thing. But I mean, yeah, I agree, Brett. And it's like I mean, we didn't have to pay for it. We just had we did it the first year, and it was insane. It was just insane. But no, I agree with you on that.
So that was kind of Disneyland. Yeah. And now we move to California Adventure, where you met us. Yes. California Adventure is the smaller of the two parks. There are certainly less thrill rides, I would say. Because in terms of thrill rides or like high quality rides at Disneyland, you have Space Mountain, you have Splash Mountain, you have Big Thunder Mountain, you have Rise of Resistance, Smuggler's Run, Haunted Mansion, some of these more high production things. There's really, I would say, only like 3 of those rides. Yeah. Four, I guess, if you count Goofy's Flight School. That one, it's kind of
wild.
It's I would call that like a mid-tier coaster.
Yeah.
It's more spinny than anything. There's like one decent hill. I think that it cracked my back almost in half.
I would say if you need to go to the chiropractor, which I don't recommend, do that instead.
Yeah, when it jolts you out of the gate, it like spins and then it jolts you up the hill. It reminded me of Jackrabbit in that way at Kennywood, because
Yeah,
that ride is
sure.
hell on my back.
Yeah, it's
And I
bad.
think the other part of that ride that I had issues was that it was clearly not designed for people above average height in mind,
No.
because I felt
Well,
my legs were so
I'll say like this was
smushed
me in that
in.
ride. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like that. So you being like 4 or 5 inches taller than I am, it's like
right. Yeah,
that
and
was
I
me.
had to like
Like,
contend with like my backpack, because I always bring my backpack,
sure, yeah.
stuff, and like having to put all that shit in there, and it was okay though. Um, so we did that. We went through, we got some characters. We worked our way over to Pixar Pier. The Incredicoaster. I'm gonna tell you right now, in terms of the 6 American Disney parks, best roller coaster they have is the
It's so
Incredicoaster.
good.
Yeah.
It's way better than it needs to be.
Yep.
It's a long ride too. That's what she
Yeah.
said. And it's a fun roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's
It's
one of
got a
those roller
loop.
coasters I think, yeah, I think it's
It's
one of
got a
those roller
yeah.
coasters like maybe 50 miles per hour, but it's always so short. So it
Well, and it
seems
boosts you off right
quicker.
away,
Yeah.
and
It like
you
it
go
boosts
through
you
some
off the 0 to
tunnels.
60. Yeah, it's a great
Yep.
coaster. It's a
It was
great
really,
coaster.
really good. I would have written it
And
again.
I'm a coaster snob.
Right.
Like I am like one of those people like, give me the fastest, highest roller coaster you give me, I'll do it. Honestly, like I would actually rate that coaster based off of, I would say, expectations to actual ride, top 15 coaster I've done.
Well, when you put
Because
it
it's
in those
fun.
terms, yeah, when you put it in those
Because
terms,
yeah, you have to do it off those terms. Because you look at it like how fun is it, and then
yeah,
you do it, and it's such a. And the other thing I will say, I don't know how far you want to get into this. My faces in all these coaster
pictures,
rides,
yeah,
like I had no emotion. Jamie's
yeah.
like, you look like you're in, like the movie. It's
The
Weekend
Cars
at
one, I
Bernie's.
was completely flat.
Yeah, The Incredibles. I'm just like, I nothing. I'm like, I have sunglasses. I'm Weekend at Bernie's entirely. Like
Yeah.
it's, and I will say, pat on the back. I rode a water ride
Yes, you
because your
did.
kids wanted to do it,
Right.
and Jane wanted to do it,
Kind of
and I
wish we
knew
would
if
have
I
saved
did it,
that until later in the day, to be honest with you,
I do too now.
when it was a
But
little
I did
hotter.
it because I knew if I did it, Janie would have to ride a roller coaster.
Is she not a roller coaster person?
No.
Oh, okay.
And so like that's what's our reservation with Six Flags. It's like because they have really good roller coasters that are Six Flags here, and it's like
I
but
think I must have.
she's
Is it in LA?
it's in Valencia.
Okay, because I drove
Uh,
when we were driving. I was like, "What
yeah,
the
you
hell is
can't
that?"
see it. You can't see it at all.
I
It's
saw
out there.
something. I don't know
Yeah,
what the hell it was though. It wasn't. It wasn't
yeah. No,
Universal, and it wasn't
no.
Disney.
There's another thing, but like she said she'll do it just for me
Mm,
because that's love. Um, but
I would do anything for love, but I won't
yeah,
do that.
meatloaf. But I love roller coasters, and so the Incredicoaster was good. The thing I really love, I mean, and this is not beyond, is that your kids meeting like the Marvel characters.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, Claire getting upset about Spider-Man, and then getting upset, and then like I get that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those things where like I never laughed at it because I'm just like that sucks. If I was Claire's age, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yes,
Pissed.
this is terrible. I need to
Yeah.
meet Spider-Man. And like I will the number one, and I don't know if you want to like if we should do our ranking, Thor.
Thor was
Number
solid.
one. Number
He
one
had
for
an
me.
Australian accent. He was a good Thor.
Is
Uh,
big too. He's a
yeah,
big guy.
he was a big guy. Yeah, he was bigger than
Yeah.
me by a lot. I think he was probably
And
a good
Doug.
6'4", six
Doug the
five.
dog. Yeah,
That,
Doug the
yeah, for
dog.
you.
I love Doug.
So just a shout out the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower ride, which was ostensibly
Oh
the
yeah,
Tower
yeah.
of
That was
Terror.
a great ride.
Dude, I would
Great
have ridden
ride.
that. The music,
If you and I could have just done that 20 times in a row, I
I would
love
ride
rides.
that
I love
ride
rides like that though. So
all fucking day.
I love that ride, man.
It was
I was
I
frustrated.
I don't like the vertical rides, but they're
And I do.
typically not inside in a cart like that. So it
Yeah.
gives me like a feeling. Well, I told you like there was a theme park in Kentucky. I don't remember what it was. It might have been like Six Flags
Oh
or
wait, this is
whatever.
the ride Jamie said she would not have rode with the water ride, not the roller coasters.
Okay.
She hates that. She hates that. Yeah. I'm
So
sorry.
there was a one of these in Kentucky, and like like a hydraulic line snapped and severed this girl's legs, like just cut them
Right.
straight
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And ever
Yeah.
since then, I just don't ride rides like that. I don't like the Power Tower at Cedar Point. I don't like it used to be the Pitfall at Kenny. I
Yeah.
don't like any of those rides,
Oh, I like them.
but I like and I like Tower of Terror. I'm not like bothered by it. It's just like thematically, and that's one of the great things that Disney does. And I know I heard you and JD talking about it was the presentation. Like it's a theme park through and through. The presentation is
Yeah,
so
they do.
immersive. Like when you're on Rise of Resistance and you're in you're like just in the line, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm in a Star Destroyer.
The stormtroopers, man, like
Yes.
that's the coolest thing. It's
And
so cool.
so they do, instead of having you wait up until the time that you actually get on the ride, they like break it into parts where, okay, at this point you're in the collectors um collection area on nowhere. You're looking at all these weird ass things in these cases and stuff like that. And it's just something to keep the eye and the brain occupied while you're standing in line. And then they shuttle you into the next thing and it turns into a thing and like there's an animatronic rocket. And then, you have to wait a little bit longer. In our case, we had to wait a lot longer because four of the carts were broken. Um, well, like not functioning, I shouldn't say broken.
Right? Yeah.
But then like even the ride itself, like you think about the power tower, it's like up, down, up, down, up, down. That was cool. Now you're done. But the presentation of we're going to like rockets gonna hit Quill's headphones and it's gonna be Born to Be Wild. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, like as soon as that music came on, I was like, even right now,
Hell
I'm getting
yeah.
like goosebumps thinking about it. It's
Yeah, me too. It's
the
so good.
presentation is just a complete another level. And that was the thing about the Incredicoaster too. There's a theme to every ride because the theme park,
Yep.
it's not just like, Millennium Force is dope. It's probably my favorite coaster. But at the end of the day, it's just like, you're going up a football field, you're coming down, and you're going
Yep.
to go all
Yep.
around. But with the Incredicoaster, it's not as good of a roller coaster, but you're chasing Jack Jack and he's all
Yep.
over the
Yep.
place. And you're going through these tunnels, and some of it's got fire, and some of it's got laser lights, and some of it's got whatever.
It's
And like
cool.
the
Right.
Cars
Yeah, I
ride, it's
agree.
like this whole thematic thing. And yeah, I just that's one of the things I love about all the Disney parks is just the level of presentation, like the care that goes into all these things. It would be very easy to just throw a stage up there and Mickey Mouse comes out and dances for a little bit to some pre-recorded music, and then fuck off, kids, go get your cotton candy.
Right.
But
Yep.
it is like such a level of care, and it's funny to compare and contrast Universal to Disney, because when the first time we went to Universal in Orlando, it was like I said, these were the people that were too unhappy to get jobs at Disney, because everybody that works in Disney, whether they are or not, appears to be having a good time. Like even the guys that
Yeah.
are sweeping up trash, like, oh, let me get that vomit for you, buddy. Like, ha ha ha, So it's cool. Um, as far as the character interactions, I would say that the Marvel stuff was easily the best. The whole Avengers campus was cool. Um, there was like a show that was actually kind of dumb. We didn't have a great view of it. Um, but like the
But also that was
cool,
dumb. Like we thought we were
yeah,
gonna have more Avengers.
right. We thought it was Avengers Assemble, not
Yeah.
Scarlet Widow. Scarlet Widow, Black Widow beats up on some Taskmaster villains. The end. I thought it was going to be like,
Yeah, sure.
here they all come out to like have a parade and shit. It was cool how they were like, oh, we're just on patrol. We're just on patrol.
Yeah.
And you could
Yep.
just come up to us. And like that's how we caught Thor was like, hey Thor, can we please have your, get your picture and everything? He's like, well, I'm leaving patrol, but since you asked nicely, that sort of thing. And this was
Right.
after, like, this was kind of after you had taken off. and we finally got to meet Spider-Man, and the kids were just
Right.
geeked. And
So cool.
they he said like, oh, what, who else are you gonna meet or whatever, and they said, well, we're gonna try and meet Captain America, and he says, oh, we'll ask him about his pet dinosaur. And so then like he wasn't there, and we went and got Loki because he was over by the Doctor Strange stuff. And we took a picture of him, and I said thanks for the picture, Reindeer Games, because he had the horns on, and he's, oh, you're very
Yes.
funny now, aren't you? He was it was a good Loki
Great
too.
Loki. Looked just
Yeah,
like him too. That was crazy.
tall, very tall. I didn't
Oh,
picture
really?
Loki
Okay.
being
Yeah.
that tall, but he was probably, I mean, he was taller than me without the helmet. He probably had to have been 6'4".
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I bet you the guy that was Thor was probably like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, big dude. Big dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But then we did go back over to Captain America, and America Chavez was there from Multiverse of Madness. But the kids said Spider-Man told us to ask you about your pet dinosaur. And he like launches into this very elaborate story about how Spider-Man thinks he's so old that he has a pet dinosaur, and then he produces like a dinosaur action figure from his utility
Amazing.
belt. That was awesome because that just
That's so
shows like
awesome
the
too.
interconnectivity of everything.
Yeah.
The web slinger ride was pretty good. That was fun.
Yeah. That was
Um,
fun. I had way more fun than I thought I would. I had a great time.
yeah,
Our team killed it.
yeah, we had more
Shout out.
opportunities,
Shout out to the girls on my team.
which was only one,
No,
right?
we had four.
Oh, you had two other people with you.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
some two randos. Okay.
They were
Yeah,
cool. I gave her fives all around.
Cam had the highest score in our cart, which I was disappointed with, obviously.
Janie had the highest score. But
But yeah, it was good, and we had some decent food, and you got some shawarma from
shawarma was
Avengers.
good. I mean, I will say the
Yeah,
food was awesome all around, man. Like I wish I
yeah.
would got like more food. I wish I was like hungrier.
It's crazy. You can walk 9 miles in a Disney park and still gain weight because of the food. Because the food is just so out of
Yeah, I
control.
mean, like food is so. I've only been to Disneyland parks when the food's good.
The food is always good,
Well,
or not
JD has
good.
been there since she was a little kid.
Oh, okay. So it's turned
So
around. Yeah.
she's like, there were no. It was just like hot dogs,
Oh,
shit.
okay.
Like it was,
Yeah. Gotcha.
and I was like, holy. And then she's like, no, like it's insane how much better the food is because
Yeah.
I mean
Well,
she's
it's
a
also, I
vegetarian.
mean, the prices are also out of like crazy.
They're bad. I will say they're bad, but like living here, you get accustomed to like not great prices.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so like I never felt like when we went to the PIM laboratory thing for food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like I had a beer and Janie got like two like PIM soda thing or she got like
Yeah.
the cold brew coffee thing and whatever the other thing was. And they're both really, really good. And it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, it was like $30. And it's like that's three drinks
Oh,
for
you
30
can
bucks, which is like
listen. You can
that's not
drop a
that
lot of
bad.
money. You can drop a lot of money in a heartbeat. The next day, we went to downtown Disney, and we spent like, I'm not going to say how
Oh,
much,
you get
but
a lot.
it was in a short amount of time. We spent a
No.
lot of money.
I wish I would have had
So
one of those angry dogs. Yeah, no, it's good. The food at Disney is so good. It's way better than it probably needs to be, but also it's great. It's great.
yeah, good stuff. Um, so that leads us to so that leads us to my experience at Universal Studios. Um, Greg's laughing because in the chat I told him how much money we spent in what amount of time. Um, and so Universal Studios.
I was not
Uh,
there.
no, I think the problem. So okay, we went to Universal Studios. We knew we had limited time. We had to
Sure.
catch the red eye. And we
What
had
time
so
did you leave? So you were from Santa Barbara, right?
yeah, we left from Santa Barbara. We
Yeah.
left about 6:30. Made excellent time to Universal
Good.
Studios. I made it
Yeah.
there in about an hour
Good.
and a
Yeah,
half.
that's
Um,
6:30 is perfect time.
except not because we should have done early entry because The organization at Universal Studios is comically bad.
I've never been.
One up to yeah. Okay, so I've been to both now. I've been to Orlando and Hollywood. Super Nintendo World. It's new. It's new. It's not even a year old. Big draw. Terrible organization there. Pretty much after the gates opened, within 10 minutes, they the lot there's only one ride in Super Nintendo World, and it's a 3D pop out ride, so it's like the Web Slinger ride.
Okay.
Within 10 minutes, it was a 3-hour wait.
Jeez.
And the restaurant that's there was fully booked for the day immediately. My thing is that there's no, they have Fast Pass at Universal, but they don't use it for that ride. And I think that that's faulty because this is going to sound, it's going to sound false, but the way that Lightning Lane works at Disney, I think keeps the overall line sizes shorter because you're given a window of time. You're given an hour window with Genie Plus, and you go there at that hour, and you go up, and then you get to a merge point with the regular line. And even if it's 30% of people, and I think at Disney it's probably more than that, but I think even if it's 30% of the attendees are using FastPass, Lightning Lane, whatever you want to call it, then that's 30% of people who aren't in line.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot
and
of people.
It is a lot. And when you have a 180-minute long line, and 30% of that is, like 45 minutes or whatever. Well, 30% would be an hour. You're cutting that line down significantly, and you're getting people you're getting people out of line. This is just theme park practice, and maybe the economy of it is not what I think it is, but I feel like you want people not in line, because then they're more likely to buy food, they're more likely to buy souvenirs, they're more likely to, go to a show, whatever. So that was a disaster. They only let certain amount of people into Super Nintendo World at a time because of occupancy stuff. And it's like, we were about to leave at one point, and we hadn't done it. We had done literally nothing other than go to the gift shop. We waited in line for Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge for 2 hours, and then the ride broke. And it's like, okay, well, and it was in direct sunlight. Like,
oh no.
I don't know if most people know this about the Los Angeles area. Not a lot of clouds.
Nope, not this time of the year. Thank God.
And well, yeah, thank God, unless you're standing in line for 3 hours for an amusement park ride.
Yeah, right.
So I didn't even get to ride it because it was like, well, I'm not. It says they don't know when the ride's going to get back up, and we only have a finite amount of time, and we'd like to see some other stuff. So
where's your when did you have to be at the airport, Brendan, by the way?
I had to drop the rental car off by 7:00. Okay. So, and like, LA traffic, like we talked about, is pretty unpredictable. I wanted to give myself at least 2 hours to get there, because I also had other paperwork to fill out that I don't want to talk about on the show. But yeah, it was wild how just poorly organized everything was there. And so we left there. Aesthetically, it's exactly what you want it to look like. It is like a 9-year-old's wet dream, or a 38-year-old's wet dream.
I was saying,
depending on the 38-year-old. Yeah, depending on the 38-year-old. I think that they're off base by
calling. I'm gonna go there next Christmas.
I would wait more Christmases. I'd wait like 4 more Christmases till it just loses some of its luster, And like in 25, they're opening it in Florida, and that might take some of the crowds away, just because there will be more options. But no, aesthetically it's brilliant. I think they're off base calling it Super Nintendo World, though, because it's strictly at this point Super Mario. It's it's so Super Nintendo Super Mario that it's not even funny.
That's
And
funny.
but like they call it Super Nintendo World, but it's like, okay, where's Link? Where's Donkey Kong? Where's Metroid Samus? Where's
Sure, yeah.
Kirby? All these things. So unless they're planning on expanding it, which I don't really see how they could based on, the size of the lot and everything of that nature, there's really no, it should just be Super Mario World. But the kids got to meet Mario and Luigi and they loved that. And they got to hit some of the power block
They got
things.
hats too.
They did get the hats. Um and they, you know, did they wanted to do the mini games. We didn't have a chance really. We went up to Harry Potter. We had lunch there at the Three Broomsticks. I got a pretty decent like rack of
Did
ribs.
you
It
get
was maybe,
butterbeer?
yeah, I got two.
Nice, nice.
It's just all it is cream soda with
It's cream soda, right?
yeah, it's
With
cream
stuff
soda
in it.
with butterscotch whipped cream.
Hell yeah.
That's what it is. So there you go. If you're listening at home and you want to make yourself a butterbeer, that's how you do it. You get cream soda and then you put butterscotch whipped cream on top. You got yourself a butterbeer.
Hell yeah.
So we did that. I had a decent like rack of spare ribs. Too much barbecue sauce on them. We stood in line for the ride called the Flight of the Hippogriff for between 45 minutes and an hour, and then the ride was 25 seconds long. And it was not super great. And so that was a bummer. We bought a few souvenirs. I bought a cauldron cake, which was really good actually. It was just chocolate cake in like a little cauldron
Nice.
with like
Oh,
this
hell
fire
yeah.
icing. I was a little disappointed I had to share it with one of my associates,
That's too
but
bad.
got some stuff, got some souvenirs. Went over to Minions, rode whatever Minions Mayhem ride, and then we left. And it was like, oh well, there's no more time, so we're
Yeah.
gonna leave now. Get to the airport, drop the car off, overnight flight. I hate flying, and I hate
Yeah, you. That's
flying.
fine.
I'm gonna be honest. This is true, and then we can kind of wrap up for the week. We both need to catch up on Secret Invasion or whatever it's called, and then
Yeah. Whatever
when do
else
you
there is.
whatever you
Bear
when do you get back? Yeah, I haven't watched that at all. So what day do you come back?
next Friday. But
Okay.
Friday morning. So yeah.
So I'll probably just either do a solo episode or maybe I'll wrangle in a co-host or something.
Yeah, you can just ask me. I mean, it's a 6 hour time difference between if we're in
Well,
Hawaii.
I'm not.
I can
I'm
like
not gonna have
wrangle
you.
in like
I'm gonna have you break
three
up your
o'clock, which
honeymoon.
is like a 3 o'clock. Then you taking a nap. I could
I'm
be
not
like,
gonna. I'm not gonna
let's
wrangle
do a
you
little.
in
How's
for
it
a.
going on?
I'm not gonna
How's it
wrangle
going on?
you
I was
off
like,
your
well, I'm
honeymoon
just
for a
sipping on my ties, and
podcast that only like
I'm
15
like,
people
oh,
listen to. Um,
enough
oh,
to warrant a cake.
this is this is this is my final thought, and it's why I hate flying. Okay, people think I hate flying because I'm afraid that we're gonna crash. I'm actually not afraid of that at all because I feel like if the plane crashes, I'm gonna
Easy
be
death.
exactly. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
incinerated immediately. This is my whole thought process. Okay.
yeah.
I get to the airport. I'm going through security, keeping an eye on people. Okay. Then you get to your gate, and I'm profiling immediately all the people sitting around my
Oh
gate.
yeah, sure, yeah.
Who's a terrorist?
Oh, I
And
don't
I'm
do
not
that.
gonna lie, there's some racial profiling involved. I'm just gonna be honest.
I don't do that. I do profile like who's gonna piss me off.
Nope. I'm
That's my
thinking.
thing.
I'm thinking who is likely to try to hijack this plane, and so I'm watching. Okay. So usually I identify a few people. The next step in this process is I try
I
to look
lost my job
around.
over a cake, and you're saying racial profiling. It's like
Hey,
that's the funny thing.
I think that's the first time you've acknowledged on the show. But anyway,
Yeah, this is
um,
what it is.
So we did that. I do that. And so I usually there's like 3 or 4 people, whatever. The next step in the process is now I'm looking around to see who's going to help me fight these guys off. So I'm looking for military types. I'm looking for rednecks. And I'm looking for gangbangers. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Because those are the people who are going to step up. You got your military types who might actually be able to do something. You got your rednecks who, worst case scenario, they're a meat shield. And then you got your
Gotcha.
gangbangers and just wild cards. Who knows? Right.
Sure.
My wife, Melissa, always asks me, "Why do you always bring your laptop but you never use it on the plane?" I told her, I said, because it's my weapon of choice. Because if somebody starts some stuff, I'm gonna crack them across the side of the head with it. I'm gonna
There
subdue
you go.
them.
Hell yeah.
She said, "Do you really think you could like kill someone?" I said, "If it's life or death and that person has a sharp object, I'm going to subdue them. I'm going to take it. I'm going to shove it right through their eyeball, straight into their brain. Because if you stab them in
I
the
love
heart and
it.
leave it there, just by accident, adrenaline, whatever, they could live. You got to stab, pull it out. But the brain, forget about it.
Hell yeah.
This is where my mind goes before every single flight that I've ever been on.
Mine, and you and I are very different. Mine is, do I have enough podcasts downloaded?
Sure.
That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
That's all I.
Yeah, on the way
That's it
back,
for
these
me.
guys were speaking in another language, and the one guy kept looking around really suspiciously, and so I couldn't let myself go to sleep until he did.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was
That
watching him
happens. You know what?
way too closely.
You're in the 90, Brenton, and I'm in the 10 on that.
What does that mean?
90% people are like you, like looking at everybody, and I'm just in the 10, like,
Well, I don't know if everybody's looking as aggressively as I am.
I I don't know, man. Like I've there for something. I'm just like on my phone, like downloading my podcast and like, oh, do I have at least 90% on my phone because I gotta listen to something. It's like I
Yeah.
zone out on the flight. That's just the thing.
I listened to a show, like I downloaded, um, I listened to like half, maybe a little bit more of the latest Sacred Symbols PlayStation podcast. Those are always like 4+ hours
I,
long, so that's really all I
yeah,
need. I listened to like half of it, and then the suspicious guy looked like he nodded off, so I was like, okay, I'm safe. I can sleep with one
sure.
eye open. So,
There you go.
holding my pillow tight.
That's
Exit
it.
light.
You guys have any
Red light.
other plans the rest of the summer, flights or anything?
No flights.
No flights. Okay.
No. We might do something for our anniversary in October.
Yeah. Where you guys?
Which might
What's that?
probably go to Florida.
Nice.
I've
Good.
determined that
Disney?
no, we couldn't justify
Oh,
going to Disney without the kids.
go
Uh,
to Miami.
she knows where she wants to go, but that's not here and there. I
Okay.
think I've determined that I just prefer Florida to California. It's like, well, you know, it's hot either way. I'm gonna get sunburned. Hurricanes or earthquakes, whatevs.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to try to dissuade you.
That's fine.
It's cheaper in Florida. It's much cheaper in
Cheaper in
Florida.
Florida. Yeah, no state
Yeah.
income tax. Also,
Yep.
yeah, definitely cheaper. Um, but yeah, that was it. It was a good time. It was a good vacation. There weren't.
Good.
I'm a pretty I'm kind of a downer, and I tend to look at the bad things first. I know, surprising, right? Um, and so my
You
initial
sh-
reaction, especially as we were leaving, and like something happened, like right before um, something happened right before we dropped the car off, and the kids were asleep, and I was like, you know what? Time is limited. We're all gonna die soon. Fuck this state and fuck California
well,
Route 104 or whatever we were on. I just want to get
101.
out of here.
Yeah.
But
I
then,
will say,
like
Brent,
since
like
then,
whenever
though,
you
I've
come back,
I've been I've softened a little bit, and I've
come back to
appreciated the
Santa
general
Barbara.
experience.
This is what I'll say. Come back to Santa Barbara. we'll get like a Subaru or something, and we'll go everybody to the Dodger game. I'll drive. You don't have to worry about it. And that's what I'll say.
And this is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath. And with that being said, you can catch us on social media, BXG Productions, at GT Phils, at Alpha Donut Guy, on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/BXG Productions. YouTube, we do have a Vertical Slice episode coming out that I just haven't had a chance to post yet, but Greg is a guest on that with Charles and I. The game doctors, we give them a prescription. And
it's like Dr. Mario, but different.
It's like Dr. Mario, but not a shitty Tetris ripoff. I actually like Dr. Mario, so I can't.
I like Dr. Mario too. I was like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, no, I like Dr. Mario, but it is kind of a shitty Tetris ripoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you check us out, and congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Best wishes to Janie. That's what you're supposed to say. You're not supposed to say congratulations to the bride, in case you're planning a wedding again soon. Not you, but planning to be at one.
I'm not. Not yet.
That's wedding etiquette. You're supposed to say congratulations to the groom and best wishes to the bride. And stay safe out there.
I will. In Hawaii.
In Hawaii, you're in the middle of the high seas. Try not to run across any pirates.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Pacific.
I look forward to like surfing, maybe, and swimming with fishes, but in the best way.
Well, as long as you're swimming with them, you just don't want to be sleeping with them.
Yeah. And Mai Tais, I guess, are a big thing there. So we'll do that too. Hemingway style.
There you go. I read Hemingway.
I won't blow my brains out there.
You won't blow your brains out there?
Yeah, because he blew his brains. That's how he killed himself. He blew
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he did.
Fair enough.
But that'll be our Hemingway episode. That's when we do the thing where we do our literature spinoff.
Oh yeah. Right. All right. Let's get the hell out of here. You need to get some rest for your flight. What time do you leave?
5 o'clock our time.
Okay.
In the PM. I'm good.
Safe travels.
Yeah, I'll post and people keep track.
Yeah, you and I'm sure we'll keep in touch, but you're gonna be on your honeymoon. We all know what that means.
Yeah, me eating a lot of food.
That's what she said.
I hope you're gonna do that.
And as always,
don't buy any unripe bananas yet, because you won't live to eat them. Yeah.
Take care. Thanks for listening.
Dream rise to the top.